I think this is the very first time in my channel history I've ever locked off a shot, sat back, and just made a video. Hey.
Well, I feel honored, or maybe we're too tired
I
to do better
feel
than this.
awkward. This is an awkward position. So
Yeah, so, well, man, tonight on NBC, we'll be discussing what goes wrong, what can go wrong in van life.
hey, Cruz. I don't know if you guys can see Cruz. He's down there. Anyway, so I'm sitting here with Maddison from Ray Outfitted. They're a professional outfitting company. And I figured while I'm sitting on their property enjoying some time and using the porta potties you guys have over here, we would sit down with them and talk about just some van life stuff, because you guys have got stories after stories after stories, and not just stories from you, but stories from other people.
Oh, so many other people. So for those that haven't heard about Rainer and I, on Instagram, we're Ray Outfitted on YouTube as well. And so we're February 2018, we moved into our van full time. We've done 85,000 kilometers of travel. I don't know that in miles. I think it's like 60 something thousand miles. But for us, I think our first best misadventure in van life was 3 months into the van. I got ill and go to the hospital and find out I need to have surgery. And they tell me there's a 50% chance they will need to open me from hip to hip. So slice open all of your abdominal muscles. For anyone who's seen our van tour, they know we have a platform bed that I climb up onto. And the idea of doing that with stitches, hip to hip.
Yeah.
And so how do you prepare for that? How do you manage that when, of course, you have half your family going, see, I told you you can't live in a van, which makes you really not willing to go lean on them for help in this moment. And then a bunch of other people in vans going, yeah, I don't really know how you solve that. We were lucky enough in our scenario, the hospital allowed me to stay overnight. And normally you're not meant to for a general minor procedure. But I had flat out told them that we live in a van, and the nurses were fascinated because Rainer is video gaming in the van while I'm in the OR. Why sit in a stressful hospital waiting room? Yeah. And so they let us stay overnight because of the reality of the van. And then we managed to have one of our clients was kind enough to give us a driveway. And so we bought a dedicated step stool so I could wiggle my way into the van to sleep. And thankfully for my surgery, they didn't have to gut me. It was just 5 laparoscopic incisions.
So a huge question I get on my channel, and it's always from people obviously haven't started, is what do you do when your van breaks down? Where do you stay? Where do you go? My answer to that is a hotel.
Yep.
Like, I've been saving thousands and thousands of dollars on rent. If my van breaks for a week, 2 things are going to happen. 1, I'm getting a hotel with a big fat jacuzzi tub because I've deserved it. Or 2, I'm going to Mexico for a week and I'll see you in a week, because what? A trip to Mexico is what? $1,000?
Yeah.
That's less than I paid for 1 month of rent. I just saved 2 years of rent on the van. Yeah, I'm going to treat myself.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think people need to stress and worry, but what I think that happens there is people always, they worry about it because they're coming into this in the same poor financial situation that they were in their house.
Yeah.
And they forget that maybe a year into van life and a year after not paying rent, the world kind of levels itself out financially and you'll have a lot more extra cash.
Yeah, certainly the big risk, and it tends to be a tale that we hear from people who have bought used Sprinters, where they finish the upfit. You've just bled out every penny you could into this van, and then in Sprinters it's the diesel particulate filter dies, and that's a $7,000 US treat.
Ooh.
And I think we've now met 4 Sprinter owners that finish their builds, all excited, set off on the road, and it's truly within the first 10,000 kilometers of their trip. They're having this DPF system fail. And so some of those are hard to manage. Our big adventure just this year with our van, so we were in Bend, Oregon at a FedEx facility picking up a pallet of batteries for some of our upcoming clients. And who would have thought that the FedEx building where you're picking up a pallet would have a low overhanging roof? And we managed to back our van squarely in to buckle in both of the back doors. Our doors don't seal anymore. Wow. It was an excellent test of Rainer's cabinetry because we buckled in the back of the van, but nothing shifted inside, nothing broke inside.
Oh, good for Rainer.
So we were incredibly lucky because it meant we were in Bend, Oregon, and you do not want to, when you're far away from any version of a home base as Canadians, to be broken down in the US is far harder than being broken down in Canada. So we were lucky with ours that we were able to drive back to Canada and make plans for the repairs. But you talked about if your van was broken down, go away for a week. For our repairs, the body shop said it would be 2 weeks to fix the van. Yeah. So we found accommodations. We rented a property, and we were 2 weeks in, and we called to see how it's going with the van. The van hasn't even been put into the shop yet. No. It ended up being 8 weeks until we got to see our van again. Yeah. And that was quite an experience. It's like losing a limb is the only way I know how to describe being without the van for that long. But the honest answer is, like everything else in van life, you just figure it out. Yeah. When we've had friends that their solar panels flew off their DIY camper van while they're driving down the highway.
Can you imagine being behind that on the highway?
And you pull over and you run and go pick up your solar panels. Yeah. And if there's still glass on them, maybe you decide to keep them. Otherwise, they might be finding a scrapyard. But truly, with everything in this lifestyle, you just figure it out. You don't roll over and play dead. I mean, unless you're Cruz taking a nap.
Sprawled out on the ground right now.
You figure it out. You adapt. Life really does go on.
And things always seem to work out. I've never, even when I got the rust done on my van, well, what do you do when your van goes in for repairs? You tell the guy, look, I need to sleep in your parking lot. If he says no, call another mechanic. Yep. Really, like if the guy wants the job and you need some work done, say, hey, look, I live in my van. If you need it for a couple of days, I need the van to sleep in at night. Is that possible? The guy's like, no, okay, and then no. And then you're like, well, then kick rocks then. Call the next guy, say, hey, look, I live in my van, I'm traveling. I really could use...
Cruz doesn't like the set we have. He's now eating my chair.
Cruz is down there just causing a ruckus.
Does that taste good?
That's hilarious. Crazy.
But no, you really do. You figure it out. Being married to a mechanic is one of my cheats for how to make van life easier.
Not everybody's got that luxury.
Well, just go on Tinder and find yourself a mechanic just like I did.
That's for a whole story. She actually met the man who builds these amazing vans and does all the mechanical work on Tinder.
So when you don't have a mechanic that you can marry and run away in a van with, one of the biggest lessons he taught me, when you hear a funny sound coming out of your van, when there is some hint of a problem, that doesn't mean ignore it until it gets worse. We have friends that sent us a video clip, go, man, listen to this really weird tire sound I'm getting. Anyways, we have 150 miles to our next location. We'll give you a call then and talk about it. Yeah, I think it was 22 kilometers down the road. The entire tire fell off their school bus as they're driving down a mountainside I think that was in Arizona. So you get a different type of call from the, haha, listen to this sound to, holy crap! Yeah. So getting hints, pay attention to your rig. If you know your rig, I'm sure you know, when you hear that new sound, let me figure out what that is before I decide if I can ignore it.
Yeah, and one thing I found owning this is my old vehicles, if I knew service was coming up, I never really cared about that date. With my old car, I'm like, oh, the brakes sound like they're squeaking. Whatever. You just keep driving. Because like you don't want to pour the money into it because you're broke. Where in this thing, the second I hear something, shop.
Take it.
That's my house.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean?
100%.
And now
preventative maintenance will save you so much money. Early intervention will save you so much money and the disastrous weeks of delays waiting for parts or whatever. Yeah,
and I think what I see with some of you guys too is that a lot of the questions that come up, they're still living in homes, so they haven't quite shed that mindset yet. You know what I mean? Because like money's tight, man. I know, guys, I've been there. I know what it's like to bypass a brake job until it goes. Why did I just stop? Why is my wheels not moving? Because I couldn't afford to go get brakes. Yep. Because I always thought brakes were $500. I always thought right away, a shop's like 500. And then, you know, you avoided it. But then when you start moving into a van like this and living in it, I baby the crap out of that thing.
For sure.
Because I'm not paying rent. There is extra money kicking around. So when I know the brakes, even a thought, I'm like, okay, it's squeaking. I'll go into a place. I pulled into Canadian Tire and I was like, hey guys, can you just check my brakes out? The guy's like, it's $35 for brake inspection. I'm like, do it. Yep. Because I don't care, it's $35. Yep. And to my surprise, because most people are scared of mechanic shops. they're scared. I get it. But even when I went into that Canadian Tire, I've never ever taken my vehicle into a place like that. I was like, whatever, take it in there. The guy's like, $35. I watched them pull all my tires off, put all my tires back on. The guy's like, your van's fine. I'm like, what? I'm like, you tell any mechanic a van's got a squeak in it? The guy's like,
$1,000.
$1,000. Oh yeah, your brakes, rotors, the calipers are all gone. Brake lines need to be replaced. I think the whole new suspension's got to go. Yep. But that was $35. The guy's like, no, they're fine. Out the door I went.
Yep. Rainer has experienced that too. We've had people contact us for some of our DIY consults, and they'll send us the estimate that a shop gave them. And it's, you know, $8,000 of work to do on the rig, and they want to have someone else to speak to about it. And certainly when you're not sure if you've got a good mechanic, getting a second opinion, go pay the extra $35 to have a second opinion if you're really worried is a pretty easy thing to do if you're going to go find someone. So Rainer's had some estimates he's seen from shops that you can cut it in half for what's actually needed. And it's definitely worthwhile. You talked about staying for it. I really recommend, if the shop will let you hang around, really go see it. One, you get to learn more about your rig. I knew nothing about vehicles when I moved into a van, but just being around Rainer and his work, you get to pick up a whole lot, and it's so empowering to have that better understanding. So poke your nose around, and the mechanics will talk to you. If you show interest, you will light up Rainer's world if you ask him technical questions. Good luck getting him to stop. But getting that information can be gold for all that learning.
And I did find that again. And if, like, I don't know much about the mechanic side, you guys would know more. But I know some mechanic shops, like, nope, out of the shop. Right. But the guy I took my little small mechanic shop in Lillooet, BC, the guy was like, yeah, come on. And I was sitting in the back of my house while he was changing my spark plugs, filming him change my spark plugs. But I got to learn things. I got to learn that, hey, these ones are really common, that you can break the spark plugs in them. You know what I mean? So changing them on the frequent is a better idea than letting them stay in there too long, because the second those things are hard to turn, they'll snap in the block, you're done. I guess they're common in the Fords. But you learn this kind of stuff. The guy's like, look, change them on a constant. He's like, literally, every couple of years, change the plugs, whatever. This is preventative maintenance, and many mechanics. But you learn that stuff by, don't be in their way. But if, you know, but that's why I like this small town mechanic shops, because those guys, they love the conversation. They love having someone in their shop that's showing an interest. And seriously, don't think that that mechanic only let chrome sit there because it's chrome and he's feeling. Seriously, many of those mechanics really are happy to share and talk. Don't think you need to be a YouTube celebrity to do it. It's like here, like I wouldn't want to talk to Rainer about his tools because I know he would never let me out of his shop, because he would show me every single tool and what it's for, and me, I'd be like white noise. I'm like, oh, what this guy talking about? Right? So anyway, let's close this video off with just saying thanks to you guys for letting me come over here. Our pleasure. But van life, like she said, does work itself out. Like it does. Things will work out. You know, people don't over stress. Here's the best way to put it. Don't stress about something that hasn't even happened yet. Worry about it the day it happens. People worry about like this stuff ahead of time. They're like, well, what if? Shut up. Forget the what ifs. Worry about, like, try to bank your money now. Focus on that. Save money on rent and whatever. And deal with the what if when it comes. As soon as that squeak comes, say, you know what? I got $500 in the bank because I'm living in my van. I don't have to pay rent this month. Then go to a mechanic. And if he doesn't work out, find somebody else. Like, the definition of happiness is honestly that joy of solving a problem. It's why I think vanners are so darn happy all the time, because we have endless problems that you're solving. Every day, something goes nowhere near according to plan. And you get to learn the joy of just figuring that out. I promise you, things do work out. It will be okay. And all of those horror stories become your very best stories. That's right. Your favorite ones to tell, the most popular. Though, yeah, those perfect easy days where everything goes well, those are really boring. I've never met someone that has the perfect smooth sailing van build, but if you did, that would be a boring And even everyday problems, like I was here and I have my new cooler. I shut my cooler the other day, I heard this, I'm like, what was that? Open up my cooler, well, I just smashed 3 eggs and there was eggs everywhere. I'm like, welcome to van life. I don't have an egg tray. You guys might in your fancy fridge. We do not. We do not, but you will survive, I promise. That's a good way to end it. All right. Hopefully you enjoyed that one. We're going to say bye to Cruz because Cruz really enjoyed it. Cruz has been very busy. Did we do okay? Bye, buddy. Hey.